Okay, so this lesson is proportions, and this is to solve problems using proportions. So again, here are the three ways to write a ratio. Again, a proportion would be two fractions or two equivalent fractions that are equal to each other. You've got some vocabulary in here, and in the proportion, the two outside numbers, this A and D, when it's written with a colon, are called the extremes. The two inside numbers, the B and the C, are called the means. So you might also hear solving proportion, people might say use means and extremes to solve a proportion. But essentially what you're doing is these cross products, when you multiply them, they're equivalent. So let's try this. So for example, in the first one, right here, example 1A, I'm going to use the cross products, and I'm going to multiply first 5 times x, and I get 5x. And then for the other cross product, I'll multiply 3 times 4. And then 5x is equal to 12. Divide. And x is equal to 12 over 5. I'm okay with you leaving that. If you want to simplify it and divide it, you could divide it. This actually becomes 2.4, or you could make it a mixed number. But I'm okay with you leaving it improper. For part B, again, we're going to multiply the cross products. So first we'll do 4 times 15a. So on this side, it's 4 times 15a, and this product is going to be negative 2 times 21. And then I can multiply here and get 60a is equal to negative 42. You always divide by the number that's with the variable. And now I have to simplify this fraction. I can divide them both by 6, and this gives me negative 7/10. If your proportion is set up like this and you're equaling a whole number, remember I can turn a whole number into a fraction by adding a 1 to the denominator. So here I'll do the cross products again. 8 times n, 3 times 1, 8n equals 3. Divide by 8, and n equals 3/8. And again, if you want to divide it, you can. But again, I would just leave it a fraction. This actually turns into 0.375. Now, these were simple. You just had a number or a variable. Now you may have an expression in your ratio. So again, when we go to set the cross products up, I'm going to do that cross product, that diagonal, and then this one. So here, when I have an expression in my ratio, this 15 needs to distribute to the x and to the 4. And then this side is the 3 times 2. So here I would distribute, and this becomes 15x minus 15 times 4, which will be 60. And then the 3 times 2 is 6. And now I have a two-step equation that I can solve. I'll add 60. 15x equals 66. Divide by 15. I can reduce this. I can actually divide them both by 3. And I would get 22 over 5. And if you want to divide it, 5 goes into 22 4 times with 2 left over. So 4 2/5, or 4.4. Again, I would just leave it an improper fraction. Just simplify it. Now, you may also get some proportions that have an expression in both. Again, we're just going to cross multiply and divide. So again, cross products here. And again, this would become 6, do this in red, 6 times 2n minus 3 is equal to 5 times n plus 2. I need to distribute both sides, so this becomes 12n minus 18. The blue becomes 5n plus 10. I now have an equation with variables and numbers on both sides. I just need to start moving things over. So I'm going to move the 5n to the left, rewrite everything, add the 18, 7n equals 28, divide by 7, and n equals 4. So again, for solving these simple proportions, all we're doing is cross products, creating an algebraic equation that we need to solve for whatever variable was in our proportion. Next, we'll have a word problem. Here, it says with a 5-pound bag of flour, the cooking class can make 120 date nut muffins. How many muffins can they make with a 2-pound bag of flour? Now, when I go to set up my proportion, I like to label things so I know where to put my information. So I'm going to take the information from the first sentence, 5 pounds of flour will make 120 muffins. So 5 pounds of flour make 120 muffins. Now, when I go to set up my other ratio, I'm gonna make sure that the pounds of flour are in the top because they need to be across from where I labeled it here, and then the number of muffins is in the denominator. So when I go to set this up, the 2 will go here and the x goes here. So now I can solve my proportion. So it'll be 5 over 120 equals 2 over x. Again, cross products. 5 times x, 120 times 2. 5x is equal to 240. Divide by 5, and x equals 48. So you can make 48 muffins with 2 pounds of flour. One more example, and then I'll let you go ahead and start on your 7-1 homework. In example 4, it says about 8 gallons of gas filled the tank after Greg drove 224 miles. How many miles can he expect to drive on a full tank of about 13? So again, when I set up my proportion, I'm going to label it so I know what goes with what. Now, they set it up with the miles on top, so then you could figure out like miles per gallon. So we could go ahead and set this up. 224 miles. You could put the 8 on top, just stay consistent in your second ratio. Over here, 8 gallons of gas. So when I set up my second ratio, notice they're giving me the gas and I don't know the miles. Notice miles are on the top and the gallons of gas are on the bottom. And again, you'll do the cross products. So 8 times x, 22 times 13. Multiply and divide. Now I'll show you a trick tomorrow. Some of you will like to use this trick where you simplify before you multiply. But probably what you're used to is multiplying this. So 8x equals 2,912. Divide that by 8. And x is equal to 364. So he can go 364 miles on that full tank of gas. So again, your homework for 7-2, however 7-2 is not due until Wednesday, is going to be 2 through 36 even. And then of the problem solving, you're going to do 1 through 8 all. So your official homework tonight is 7-1. If it goes really quickly for you and you want to get a start on the 7-2 homework, at least you now can see how to solve these proportions. That's it.